Ladies and gentlemen, he joins us every single Tuesday. He's got a smile on his face. He's rested and he's ready to go. Ladies and gentlemen, from The Ringer, Danny Kelly. You can follow Danny on Twitter at Danny B. Kelly, also on Blue Sky.
Yeah.
You can follow Danny there.
Definitely.
Senior staff writer, Ringer Fantasy Football Show, Ringer NFL Draft Show, all brought to you by Georgetown Brewery, locally owned and operated by two diehard Huskies. Been pouring the best local craft beer for the past 23 years. Makers of Manny's Pale Ale, Bodie's Alpha IPA, host of their other favorite beers. Tap room is open 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Enjoy it when you're watching the NFL on Sunday. GeorgetownBeer.com. How do we like the Blue Sky so far? Old school Twitter.
Yeah, it does. It just feels like, I don't know, 2012-ish, 2011 of era Twitter, where everyone's nice to each other and everyone's getting to know each other. It's like, hey, this is a cool new thing. Let's hang out. It's got that vibe to it. And there's also, by the way, I just like that it looks just like Twitter. They didn't.
It looks exactly like old Twitter.
They didn't try and change anything, which is great.
Yeah. Now here's the beauty of it. When does it turn to hell social media? How many months do we get it before it turns into the hellscape that is now Twitter/X?
Well, are any billionaires going to be buying it soon? I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, but
might have a couple of years.
Wasn't it turning in before he sold it? Wasn't it turning into that anyways before he got it?
Yeah.
And then
this is just human nature. Let's be honest.
Yeah, right.
Something is good for a while. There's an expression: nothing gold can stay.
Yes.
And I mean, hey, maybe we'll get a couple good years out of this thing. I'm kind of still doing both. I'm on Twitter also, and still kind of posting on Twitter, and I'm trying to get into the routine of posting on both. But it's one of those things. It's kind of hard to do both.
I need an app to be developed where you can post it at the same time. That's what I need.
I do think there's ways to do that, but I'm not smart enough to do it yet. I'll try and figure it out. I'll let you know.
Hey, no more tanking.
Hell yeah.
They're back, Danny.
Only took a week.
Huh? NFC West, Super Bowl. Here we go. I mean, I think we talked a little bit about it last week, but this is the up and down nature of this league this year. I mean, I just feel, and I know it's kind of maybe always like this, Danny, but just this year, it just feels like it is a roller coaster every week in the NFL.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's like the one thing I've learned the most from covering the NFL now for like over a decade is that it's very easy, very, very easy to get like swept up in the emotion, the swings of emotion or whatever, week in and week out, and like kind of take your eye off of the bigger picture in that, like, and not only just with your team that it's going to be okay. Like it's a long season. There's going to be swings back and forth, but with the rest of the league, like how good and how bad the rest of the league is. I think that's the one thing I've sort of learned is like, man, if you watch some teams across the NFL, there are some really just garbage dump teams in the NFL, and like the Seahawks are not that type of team. You know, they're competitive. They can win. I think they can beat pretty much anybody, and they could lose to anybody also.
They lost to the Giants. How did they lose to the Giants? Not just lost, Danny. They got their asses kicked.
That's going to be the game if like it's a close playoff race at the end of the season. We're going to look back and be like, what the hell was that? Also, losing to the Rams, honestly, that was tough last week.
Yes, but I also, it's the Rams, and I don't know why. It's just like that team gives them problems, but.
For sure. I think just like in terms of the one that got away, but I think, I don't know. That's like the context that I think you kind of get when you cover the whole NFL is like, man, the Seahawks, like this situation's not as bad as it might seem. You know what I mean? Like there's some train wrecks in the NFL this year. And the Seahawks are not one. So it's encouraging from that point of view. Obviously, like everyone would love if the Seahawks were 10-0, but yeah, I mean, I still think this is a competitive team. Their defense looks so much better over the last 2 weeks. Seems like they're turning a corner. And I think I've mentioned this to you before, but I think like one of the main reasons that that Pete Carroll was let go, fired, whatever you want to call it, is just over the last few years, he hasn't been able to slow down Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan. Last 2 weeks, the defense has played those two guys' teams pretty well. Obviously, they lost that Rams game. They should have won it. Yeah. But the defense, I think, played well. And so like there's a little bit of proof of concept happening right now with the defense playing well against Shanahan and McVay in back-to-back weeks. Like I think that's something that I'm pretty encouraged by.
What stood out to you about their performance specifically against San Francisco defensively?
I don't know if there was anything in particular. It just felt like they were a little more disciplined in where they were supposed to be.
Yeah.
There were some really nice tackles in space, which I think was one of the things that's always frustrated me the last few years is like the tackling has been really bad. I don't know what the broken tackle numbers were in this particular game, but it felt pretty good. Like when Debo was out in space, they were rallying to the ball, tackling him. When McCaffrey got the ball on swing passes, they were rallying to the ball, tackling him. That was just my impression. I think that's, that's big picture. I would have to go back and like really dig in to see if I'm right about that. But it just felt like a more disciplined, good tackling, and kind of like get in your lanes. And I think, maybe something's starting to happen here with this defense where they're coming together.
Yeah, I think you go back, to the Broncos game, right? I remember that first game of the season thinking, God, look at this team, man. They're just tackling so much better. They look so great, and then it went away.
And it fell apart for a little while, yeah.
And then it fell apart. I agree with you. I think you go the last game and there were plays, and you're right. Where Debo Samuel was out in space, they brought him down. The only guy they couldn't bring down was Jennings. I mean, Jennings was
he's a beast, dude.
He was like Jefferson from Fast Times. I mean, it was unbelievable what he was doing out there.
Yeah,
they just looked faster. The linebackers just looked physical. I mean, they had a combined, I think Jones and Knight 23 tackles. They just didn't look out of sorts. They didn't.
Yeah.
They weren't giving up big gash plays. And Witherspoon, Witherspoon was everywhere on the field. Like that. That's why you drafted Devon Witherspoon where you did. Yeah.
Yeah. Super encouraging. I think he's been a little more volatile, I guess, than I was expecting in terms of like being where he's supposed to be. Making the tackles where he's supposed to be tackled, or where he's supposed to make those tackles. But like, yeah, he is the reason I was so excited when the Seahawks drafted him there's a number of reasons, but like the big one is like this guy is going to up the intensity of a defense. The Seahawks need more dogs on defense, like for lack of a better word. Like it's like the Earl Thomas crazy factor almost. You know what I mean? Like a guy who's going to come in
Earl Thomas. He's back in the news. Did you
I know. Sign Earl Thomas. Why not? He's ready to go. Let's bring him back.
I love how he was like, was it Josina Anderson was at the interview, I think? That's who he sat down with last week.
I'm not sure. I can't remember.
Oh, yeah. I think it was. And he's like, it's just classic Earl. I'm the best safety in the league right now.
Yeah,
he hasn't played in like 4 years, right? Or 3 years?
Dude, you need a little bit of like, it's the Mina Kimes-ism. It's like you need to believe you're God or believe in God.
Oh, God, I love Earl Thomas.
That's the thing about Earl, man. That's exactly what I'm talking about. It's like you need a little bit of like, he's a little bit crazy, but also like a really good player. And it's like it ups the intensity of your defense. It like brings that edge that like all these guys are going to kind of like sort of take on.
Because they don't have, and that's been missing for a while.
Absolutely.
Like what Witherspoon brings defensively, shit talker in your face. Like they haven't had that in a while.
There was a Marshawn Lynch interview, I think, this week too, where he was talking about how he almost fought Earl Thomas. Yes. Or maybe was that a different interview or was that the same interview?
Different interview. Yeah. That him and Earl. Yeah. It was on his show, and him and Earl almost got into a fight, and Cam Chancellor
had to come in and be like,
had to break it up, like, hey man, you can't fight him. If you guys fight, and you like, we need you. You're like our two best players.
Right.
Yeah, do it.
So I think it's always a tough balance to strike because you want players that are going to be disciplined and be where they're supposed to be. But at the same time, like especially with these Seahawks teams of old, man, like the L.O.B, they were a little unhinged. This is a group of unhinged guys.
Yeah, they were a lot unhinged.
So yeah, I think that the Seahawks need that edge. I think they've been searching for it for sure. And that's back to Witherspoon. That was like why I was so excited about the Seahawks drafting him, is because like, man, when you watch his college tape, he's like, he talks crap to the opposing receivers when they catch a pass on him. Like he's like insane. Like, he's like essentially like, you're never going to catch another pass again. You got that one, and he's like getting in their face when they catch a pass. Like he's a little bit insane. And I love that about him. So it's really cool to see him flying around and making plays like that.
Let's just hope that when his playing career is over, he's not caught in some three-way with his brother and pulling out a gun. All right.
Yeah. I think
that's the stuff, Danny, we want to avoid.
Yeah. that specific scenario is what we're trying to look. We're not trying to get into those scenarios.
I was so glad that Earl Thomas piece came out last week with Josina Anderson, because I was just wondering, like,
what's
where
he up to?
Is he? What has happened to Earl Thomas?
How old is he right now?
God, that's a great question.
He's 35.
Bring him back.
Not a lot of 35-year-old safeties.
No,
around.
He wants to coach though.
Oh,
that's what he wants to do.
He doesn't want to play. He wants to coach.
He says that he still, I think he told her, still think I'm the best safety in the league, but I think my playing days are over. I'd like to coach.
Yeah.
Bring him back as a coach.
Why not?
Yeah, I would do it. I just want to see. I want to see him back on the sideline. Like, all these guys come back. You see Cam, you see Sherman. I think I've seen enough of the Cam and Sherman commercial about the pool party thing that they're doing. I don't need to see that anymore. That plays way too damn much. But all those guys, they're all Lynch is around the facility. Baldwin is. It's time for Earl to get.
KJ Wright's on the 49ers sideline, which is weird.
So weird. Yeah. Did you see where Gino said, I saw him over on the sideline? It pissed me off on the 5 or something like that.
I kind of like that. I kind of like that
too.
Yeah.
So now, do the expectations change? They have to, right? After what they did.
I mean, they're playing for a chance to be tied. If they win, it would be tied for first place. So I think the expectations
so stupid
definitely have to change. It's so funny. The NFC West 5-5. The Rams, Seahawks, and 49ers all 5-5.
Dumb.
Cardinals are 6-4. Honestly, right now, like, are the Cardinals the favorite in this division?
I mean, I would say so. I would say now. Can we change? Am I allowed to change?
Yeah, of course.
After what happens this week?
Yes.
I'm changing my opinion week by week. It's awful.
I mean, I think that's fine. Get more information and amend your takes. Nothing wrong with that.
Okay, good.
But yeah, I think, obviously the Seahawks, again, I've tried to stay even keeled about the Seahawks for this season, because I always thought they're going to be a high variance team who can win some big games and lose some games that you get really mad about. And that's exactly what they've done. I'll be honest. I thought they're going to be a little bit better on defense than they have been, but it's been really encouraging to see these last 2 weeks. So maybe that's like a turning point for them.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It does feel like, even though the moves of the last couple of weeks have been a little alarming, with Connor Williams retiring abruptly, them trading, starting players away. Like, I was like, oh God, are they losing the locker room? There's that fear in the back of your mind, like something is going really poorly.
And I thought they're just punting on the season.
Yeah. But maybe this is early Pete Carroll era, where he was kind of you get rid of the guys that aren't buying in. And, obviously, their center, whose name I'm going to butcher, did pretty well in this.
Oluwatimi?
Yeah. He did well in this first game. So that's super encouraging. Yeah. I don't know. There's definitely things to be excited about.
I like this comment from the chat. I agree here with Sugar Shane. I think when they do, this is so off topic, but when the L.O.B, they need to put them all in together.
Yeah.
I don't think you can go one by one. I think they all have to go in together. Now, would that include Brandon Browner?
When is he due out?
When is he out of jail? Because that's.
This is a delicate thing to talk about.
Can someone bail out Brandon Browner? What did he go to prison for? I don't want to make light of what he went to prison for.
It was attempted murder, I believe.
Okay, well, maybe he's not going to be in the Ring of Honor.
Don't quote me on that. I want to make sure. But I think that if I remember, he's 8 years in prison for attempted murder. So obviously,
so
maybe not.
I don't think he's going to get in.
Right.
Can you imagine if they put them all in together? The three of them are there. Hold on. You got Earl's there, Cam and Sherman. And then on the video board, they have Browner from the jail cell, in the orange jumpsuit. Yeah. Hey, guys. Hey, 12s. Just want to say thank you.
People might
inside San Quentin.
Yeah. People might not be into that.
You don't think in a weird way, Danny, I would be. I'd be like, you know what? F everybody, because all of you are all hypocrites. You still like him, even though he's in jail for attempted murder. He was a part of the L.O.B.
Who is the official L.O.B. right now? I guess it would just be the Sherman, Browner, Cam, and Earl. Do you count Byron Maxwell in that group? Or are you counting some of the other guys? I can't even remember off the top of my head. Jeremy Lane? Are we counting him?
That's a great call. Now I
probably not those guys, but
I see those guys because they're kind of on the outside, and then they kind of came in.
Yeah.
To me, when I think of the L.O.B, I just think of those.
The four main. Yeah. That makes
the
sense.
four horsemen.
Yep.
That's who I think of. Bring them all together. Put
good
them all
times.
in the ring.
Good times. I feel like this is off topic or not off topic, but it's like the L.O.B. really spoiled us Seahawks fans, man.
Oh,
like basically John Schneider drafting like a handful, like maybe 3 or 4. I don't know, depending on how many get in, like Hall of Fame players within the stretch of like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Man, those are some fun times. Those are some good games.
I mean, you can make an argument that 3 of the 4 should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
I mean, a legitimate argument. Cam's
gonna be. He's gonna have a hard time getting in.
Earl is, I think, just the way maybe things went for him late. No, I mean Sherman for sure. I think Bobby Wagner probably has a really good case. And then it depends on, I guess, what you think about Russell Wilson. He might go in. Who am I missing? See how we see. Well, I was just thinking more of the secondary guys, but right. And there's going to be a ton of those guys that are going to get in. And I think the other thing too about the game is that we talked about just the expectations. I agree. Now the expectations have to change because you're right. They go out and beat Arizona on Sunday. All of a sudden they're in tie for first place. It's just stupid. I was talking about this with Tim Booth and Curtis Crabtree yesterday. That it's just so sports is just so stupid. And fun at the same time, though.
Yeah.
Because you always want to write someone off, and then they just surprise you.
This is like
right back in it.
Both the macro and the micro. Like I remember, literally, like fourth quarter, 3 or 4 minutes left in the game. I've got probably like 5 or 6 different texts. Like, oh, I hate this team. I can't watch the Seahawks, and I'm like with them. I'm right there with them. I'm like, this is torture. Like this is actual torture watching this team. And then 5 minutes later, follow up on the text chain. So anyway, good win. Feel good about that. That was awesome.
That's what I love being a sports fan, though. That's what it's supposed to be like. Do you know, I don't know if you've seen this yet. Do you know that there is an alternate universe where Seattle never gets a chance to win the game?
What is? Yeah, tell me. Run me through it.
So now, and I forgot about this, but I was perusing through Matt Mayoko, who does a great job. Matt is to me the best guy that covers the Niners, NBC Sports Bay Area, and he got Mike Pereira, I think, was on KNBR, the rules official for Fox. Do you remember when they stopped Jennings? Remember, it was 3rd and 11. They completed out to the right. And he gets like 6 yards. It's 4th and 5 or 4th and 6.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the sideline? There was some confusion when San Francisco was lining up to punt.
Yeah,
Seattle had taken.
They didn't really explain what happened there.
They never explained what happened, and then remember, there's the shot of McDonald, and he's putting his like hands in his face.
Yeah,
and he's pissed off, and you're thinking, what happened?
What did we blow this time? Yeah,
what did we fuck up? Well, they never, like Olsen and Joe Davis never explained what happened because I don't think
They probably didn't know. Did they know what happened?
Was Pereira on that call? Was the rules guy? He must have been, right?
I don't remember, to be honest.
So Pereira says, it's Matt Mayoko wrote about it. So on that play, it was 4th and 6. San Francisco's about to punt. McDonald had called a timeout with 2:45 remaining.
Oh, right.
So as San Francisco was lining up to punt, a Seattle assistant coach was seen going to a line judge. That line judge ended up stopping the play. You'll see it. He whistles and stops the play. And that's when the TV catches McDonald putting his hands in his face. He's like, what's going on? Why are you stopping the play?
Oh, it was like 2 timeouts in a row or something like that?
So what had happened is that side or that assistant coach called a timeout. But since, under the NFL rules, since it was not the head coach who asked for the timeout.
I was going to say, yeah.
And because the teams are prohibited from asking for back-to-back timeouts without a play being run, the line judge was correct to ignore the request. But, here's the but. The rule book states, if you go read Mayoko's piece, the rule book states that if a timeout is inadvertently granted, which it was, because he whistled it dead, the timeout must stand, the timeout is charged, and a 5-yard penalty is assessed. San Francisco
they would have had a 4th and 1.
Should have had the ball 4th and 1 from 37.
God,
and
brutal.
Because Shanahan talked about it yesterday, they're going to do one of two things. They're either going to go for it, most likely probably go for it, seal the game, because you get it, you're going to seal the game.
They're inside Seattle territory. They're at the 42. Yeah.
They're at the 42. Yeah, exactly. Or they're going to attempt a Jake Moody field goal.
My God.
55-yarder.
So basically, it was just the referees just kind of messed it up.
Yeah, and they fucked up, and then you can see the ref going over there to the line judge going to McDonald later, because I went back and watched it again this morning, and he's like, put his hand over his mouth. Yeah, hey coach, we really effed this up. Okay, I got a family. I got kids that need to go through college. I don't need this to be a big deal. So what we're gonna do, coach, is we're just gonna say nothing happened.
Never mind,
and we're gonna move on. But yeah, they were the benefit of a blown call.
Wow. Who was the assistant coach is going to running around?
I don't know.
This loose cannon over here.
We got to find out who the loose cannon was. My money is on Leslie Frazier. He looks like a loose cannon.
Yeah, because that is the rule. Like it has to be the head coach calling or the quarterback or whatever, someone on the field.
Yeah. But once so he's correct not to honor it, right? But where he screwed up was giving them the timeout, saying, all right, ooh, and he stopped it, timeout. And then McDonald's
just kidding.
Yeah, we're not doing it. Yeah, so the Niners are all up in arms down there. But this is why sports is so dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Because let's say in that alternate universe, that happens, they pick up the first down, they win the game. We're not talking about the Seahawks like, hey, they got a chance at the division still. Now we're saying F McDonald, F Schneider, blow everything up.
Right.
I mean,
don't re-sign Geno. I mean, Geno comes back.
Geno's done.
Geno comes back and like makes a game-winning drive. Yeah. Now we're like, sign him to a new deal. No, I mean, I probably honestly would have been like that anyway. But
of course,
but it is funny. It's all that is the story of the NFL. That's like it in such a low there's just not enough games, you know what I mean, to there's so much variance with the few amount of games that the teams play that just the craziest swings can happen in this league. You know what I mean? It's like in baseball, you play 162 games or whatever it is. And it's like usually the good teams rise to the top, right? Yeah. Because there's just so many games. And blatant vulnerabilities tend to show up over that time period. Whereas in the NFL, it's like, dude, 16, 17 games, you can get lucky here and there and win 10 games.
Yeah.
So that's what I love about football. But it is infuriating at times.
It's wild. It's just wild that call, and they got away with one, whatever. They can't take away. You can't take away the win. Joe Douglas out. So boy, Aaron Rodgers' experiment in New York has gone well.
Things are spiraling, you could say.
Good Lord.
Yeah, this is crazy. Obviously I expected the Jets to be much better. I expected Aaron Rodgers to be a lot better. In retrospect, it's like maybe I probably should have predicted this a little bit more. With Aaron Rodgers coming off the Achilles injury, he can't move. That's really affected the offense. Like basically he has one of the, if not the shortest time to throw he's ever had in his career. He's just trying to get rid of the football immediately so he doesn't get hit. And it's affected the way that their run game works. The run game has gotten significantly worse from last year. It's affected the way their passing game works. Clearly, it's like a dink and dunk offense. Everything is really, really quick. Get the ball out, run after the catch. And it's just hard to do that. It's hard to make a living without explosive plays. And I think it's obviously affected everything. Then you add in the personality things, the whole, just the baggage that comes with Aaron Rodgers in general. Like everywhere he's gone, he's worn out his welcome pretty quickly there.
Yeah.
He got Saleh fired. He got Douglas fired. He's probably not. I saw reporters say he's probably not going to be back next year with the Jets. Like they're going to.
He got Adams to come there.
Yeah, they traded for Adams. This is probably obviously it's the trade deadline's over, but this way, I think it's the smart move by the Jets. They're not the GM's not trying to coach, or he's not making moves for his job or whatever. He's not thinking about trying to save his job anymore, which is good for the Jets long term. Bad for the Jets probably this year, but it gives them time to find a new GM and get prepped for the draft a little bit longer than if you fired him at the end of the year. So I think it makes sense timing wise, but maybe should have done it before the trade deadline. But I guess they didn't really know that they were going to be spiraling quite this much.
Right. All right, real quick, rapid fire. Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Jared Goff, Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson. MVP.
Josh Allen.
Yeah, that was a great play last week.
Oh my God. Yeah.
That's just a great play.
It's almost like, I feel like it's almost getting overlooked because he seems to do these types of things so often. He's just so good. I mean, this is a 4th down and he just sees that it's a man defense. He just runs and breaks a couple tackles. We have a bit on our show that, do you know who Lieutenant Spears is from Band of Brothers? Did you watch Band of Brothers?
Yeah.
Lieutenant Spears.
Which one is he?
He's kind of the loose cannon-y, like lieutenant that he runs across the village that they're trying to like attack.
Okay,
and, like right through. He runs straight through German lines. The Germans are so shocked they don't understand what's happening. He just literally runs straight through they don't shoot him, and then he decides to run back. He's just crazy.
Yeah, nuts.
And he's so crazy and so like bold and aggressive that like I feel like defenses don't know what to do with him. So anyways, this is kind of like our bit. He's Lieutenant Spears from Band of Brothers. Just incredible heroics, and I think like especially if you look at like the skill players and stuff they have, obviously getting Amari Cooper is going to be good for the long term, but he's still banged up. He hasn't been a huge help yet. If you look at the support system around him, it's like Josh Allen is carrying that team. So I don't know. I feel like he deserves it. And this is almost a little bit of like a lifetime achievement award type of deal because he hasn't gotten it before. It's like, this is maybe his year. Yeah. I think Lamar, like if I was really going to be a voter, at the end of the day, I think I'll end up voting for Lamar. But after this one game, obviously it's a narrative award as well. And so he lost and Josh Allen did the game winning run. So Josh Allen, I guess this week.
Okay. I love it. Waiver wire Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay. People need help. Fantasy help, quarterbacks are out. You got Cooper Rush.
Six buys this week.
You got Cooper Rush starting for your fantasy football team. He's got no other hope.
Yeah. God.
Well, give me a waiver wire pickup extraordinaire from Danny B. Kelly.
All right. So I think the receivers are the good pickups this week. If basically anybody on the Browns right now, Jerry Jeudy, if he's still out there, he might be a little bit. He might not be out there on the waiver wire in your league, but if he is, go grab him. Elijah Moore for the Browns as well. Christian Watson for the Packers is playing more snaps. He's a bigger part of this offense. He's more first read targets. He seems to be coming on and he's finally healthy. So Christian Watson, I think, is a good pickup. And then Quentin Johnson for the Chargers. He's going to be high variance. I don't know if he's really that good, but he's in an offense with Justin Herbert, who's slinging the ball around right now. They're passing at a really high rate. And there's a chance McConkey, who injured his shoulder in this last game, could miss a little bit of time. If McConkey's back, I probably wouldn't be starting Johnson, but if McConkey's out, I would. And then at tight end, the 3 guys I'm looking at this week, obviously, if Taysom Hill is still out there, grab him. He's on the bye this week, but after that, going forward, he's going to be a big part of that Saints offense. The 3 guys this week, Hunter Henry for the Patriots, Jonnu Smith for the Dolphins, and Will Dissly, our boy Will Dissly for the Chargers. All 3 of those guys over the last like 4 to 6 weeks, 20% target rate. That's obviously what you want to see from the tight end position in fantasy. They're a big part of the passing game right now. So go grab them if you need a stream of tight end.
Okay. All right. Before we sign off, we do this every week. We put just anybody involved in the NFL. It can be a player, it can be a fan base, it can be a coach, it can be anybody. We put somebody on the barge. It's our barge of the week. There it is. We put him on the barge. Okay.
Who did we put on last week? I can't remember.
We ship them out to the Pacific Ocean, and they can survive on their own. Now, we can bring them back if we'd like. I think last week I put John Schneider on the barge, and I am bringing him back.
All right.
He's back. We saved him.
Land ho.
We flew in a Coast Guard helicopter.
There we go.
And we picked him back up.
Nice.
This week, I'm going to put on the barge. There it is. The I love that barge. I'll put Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, I was going to say that.
Yeah, well. Rodgers. Yeah, he's on the barge.
Put him on the barge.
And he's never coming back.
Put him in the dark. He could do another darkness retreat and in a shipping container on the barge.
Yeah, we'll put him in one of those shipping containers.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers going on the barge. I mean, what a disaster.
How many more people can he get fired? Let's see. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah. I mean, he could fire everybody. It's unbelievable. It's ridiculous how many people you're gonna put on the barge. Hey, one more thing. Two more things quickly before John Canzano pops on, and we'll talk college football. Where do you want Deion to land?
Deion Sanders?
Yeah. Where do you want him to land?
The Raiders.
Oh,
The Raiders.
Oh, you know what? I keep thinking Cowboys, obviously, with the connection there. Yeah, then I think the Jets. But damn it, you're right. The Raiders. God, that's
there's a lot of whispers right now.
The Raiders
amongst the people.
Because he has a real connection with Brady, doesn't he?
That I don't know, but I think from a excitement, get people rallied, get people into this team.
Yes,
this is what you got to do. Draft Shadur Sanders, sign Dion as the coach, and make a lot of money. Probably not going to win a lot of games right away, at least. But yeah, they do have. I don't know. They have a lot of talent.
Where's their draft stock right now? Where are they picking?
Pretty high. Let me see. I think it's going to be after this week. They are 5th. They're 2-8. They've lost 6 in a row. They're not going in the right direction.
Okay, so they could get them.
Yeah, they could get them for sure. Yeah, they're in their position right now. I think Cam Ward might be the favorite to be drafted first. Giants might take him. Right now, the Giants are ahead of Vegas, so that could complicate things. But there's a lot of season left.
The connection is that I think Shadur worked out with Tom Brady. Tom Brady kind of took him under his wing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's whispers amongst the people. I actually heard Dane Brugler, who knows better than probably anyone.
Dane's great.
He said on his show the other day, or maybe it was the Yahoo show. I'm sorry. He said he kind of threw it out there. He's like, I could see. I wouldn't be surprised if Shadur ends up in Vegas. And I'm like, that's perfect. I'm clocking that. I'm remembering that because I think he's right. I think there's a real strong chance of that. And I'm guessing he probably has a little bit of inside info on that too. So
that's so good.
Yeah.
He's perfect. You know who else is perfect?
Who's that?
Danny B. Kelly.
Perfect. Thank you.
He's a perfect person, and he's sponsored by a perfect brewery, Georgetown Brewery. Follow Danny on Twitter and Blue Sky now. Danny B. Kelly, senior staff writer, Ringer Fantasy Football Show, Ringer NFL Draft Show, all brought to you by Georgetown Brewery, GeorgetownBeer.com. What do you guys got cooking up at the Ringer right now? What do you want to promote?
We're doing a live show on YouTube today at 3:45 p.m. Pacific time. If you want to join us there, that would be much appreciated. You can hop in the comments and maybe we'll read your comment on the show.
Awesome. Thanks, Danny. We'll talk to you next week.
All right. Sounds good.
There he is, Danny B. Kelly from The Ringer. In case you missed all of that episode, will be available later up on YouTube. When you go there, hit the subscribe button, please. Also available, as all shows are, individually, up on Apple, Spotify, wherever you find your podcasts. And, of course, one-stop shop up there at pucksports.com.